All right. First off, let's start out with introductions. I am FinalHarps, and I'm joined here with Nanners, which is half
Hello.
of TooStupidGamerz.
That's right. Yeah, we decided to come together and have a discussion. It's a podcast now.
Yeah, I love it, so it's all good. And today's discussion is going to be about depression as like a content creator. Um, what's up, Ambush? Yes, I used to be for since PlayStation was a thing, PlayStation 3 or PSN. You are correct, Ambush. But all right, let's start with the history of depression. Pretty much back in the 19th century, that's when the first diagnosis of like mental illness and depression was actually discovered and found out as an actual thing.
Mhm.
And there was no way of treating it besides some really crazy things I'm not gonna go into because it was pretty crazy. But um, like today and nowadays we have medication and stuff to handle it, but most of the time people go through just spurts of depression and then get out of it. But then there's some people that I know um get like so wrapped up in depression they can't control it, or they suffer from chronic depression and there's nothing they can do to get out of it because it's just how their body works and their mental brain. But the main discussion today is about being a content creator and what happens when you're trying to create content to the world and you can. Like you can, but like you want the world to see, but the world doesn't care. And you put all this time and effort into something, but then out of nowhere it's like no one wants to view anything. Now, I want you to start this time because I took
Okay.
main control last time. I want you to start with your take on the subject.
Okay. Well, I think it's a very interesting subject. It's definitely something that I've been conscious of a lot, and I think all content creators really have to deal with this. No matter how big or how small, you will run into it at some point. And then this also applies to Twitch. It applies to YouTube. It applies to, I'm sure, other types of content creation as well. But yeah, everybody experiences it. It's sometimes they call it being burned out, or just like having a loss of interest or something like that. But yeah, I mean, you content creation, you run into you sometimes just run into like a brick wall, and you feel those feelings of depression where you lose your motivation to do it. You feel like all of your work is for nothing, as Final Harp said, and it can be tough. It definitely can be tough, but I think you could just quite simply remind yourself of some things. Make sure to never forget like why you got into content creation and whatnot, and like in the first place, like what it means to you, what your original purpose was for starting out with Twitch or YouTube, and like a couple of other things. Just really think about, get into your own headspace, because that's where all of it comes from. That's where all of the problem stems from, is how you look at this, how you're looking at the content that you create has changed. It used to be positive and inspiring and amazing for you, and now for whatever reason you've run into this point where you feel deflated, you feel the lack of motivation, and it's become so much that you maybe don't even want to do it anymore. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think again, like a lot of it, you could just look at base, like general depression that all non-content creators, like all people have in general, and you just can apply that to content creation and see some of the patterns are the same. See some of the uh, you know temp fixes, solutions that people have for these problems are also the same as well.
um, exactly. Now, how I actually met you was right before I started going into a depression. I actually injured my foot at work, and I heavily went deep into like the game called Code Vein and was trying to make content for it. And I made about 6 boss guides and I saw no turnaround on it. Even though I loved it, I loved creating them, I had such a great time doing it, but there was nothing was coming out of it, and I was expecting so much because like my first boss guy from Borderlands, just like it keeps going, and I don't know why, because I sucked presenting it. Everything I did, it was so amateur, and it was my first guy. So here I'm like, okay, I got a better plan. I'm gonna do this. Why is nothing happening? Like, what's going on here? And I started doing a downward spiral of just like, man, I just don't care anymore. Like, why am I doing this? Like, getting depressed, not knowing what to do, trying to figure out formulas and other stuff, which I did eventually get out of there and figure out some other things. But at the same point, I like, even now, I kind of go through that fluctuation. It's like all the time, like, I start creating all this stuff, I get all these ideas I want to do, but then I just hit a wall, like you said, a wall. And then you start noticing you don't see the numbers. I'm trying to help people, but it seems like no one cares. It's a weird feeling, because like you want to grow as a content creator and let the world see, but then they don't see it. You know, like, I want the world to see. This is something I made, and I want everyone to see it and actually enjoy it and experience what I experienced when I was making it. Like, and it's just really, really rough about that. Now,
Yeah.
that's like my thing. Now, what have you run across as a content creator, and what has caused you to be depressed or like go through these kind of thoughts?
I think so. I think again, it's very important that we define depression right off the at the top of this, just as something we can always come back to as like the foundation for this conversation. But yeah, I mean, like it's a very human feeling. There is a difference between just being sad and being depressed. So sadness is like something that happens, everybody feels it, it comes, it goes. Depression is sadness, but it sticks around and it like sits on you, and it does not go away like immediately sometimes, or for some people it just doesn't go away, depending on what they end up doing like as a potential solution. So it's definitely important to distinguish if you're just having content creator like sadness, maybe a video you put out didn't do so well, maybe you had like a couple bad streams or something like that, versus just depression. It's like, do you no longer want to do content creation? Does it feel like you no longer want to do content creation? Stuff like that. You definitely have to pick that out and figure out for sure like which one is which. You're gonna have a different approach, because honestly, like it's human to feel sad. It's 100% you. There's some days are good, some days are bad. You're up, you're down. So I think most importantly, in that case, you have to brush it off as best as you can, and just get on to the next video, get on to the next stream. Maybe it'll be a little bit better next time around. Come up with some little mantras, some little reminders, some positive affirmations of good things that you've accomplished in the past, and just to serve as a reminder that you're capable of good things. Uh, you just have to tough out the bad times to get back to the good times. And again, there will always be good times, there will always be bad times. It's just how it is. For depression, that becomes like a bigger issue, because if somebody's struggling with like a content creator depression, I mean, yes, I'm not even sure if I have like like a legit solution for it specifically, but it's definitely an interesting topic, and you definitely see a lot of people go through it, where content creators will even come and go. Like, you'll see them, and then they just stop doing it because they lost all that motivation. They lost total interest in doing it, or they weren't happy with what they were getting, like numbers wise, views wise.
Or they've realized how much hard work it takes just to be a content creator. Like, when I got into it, I went head first. That's how I go into everything, just straight head first. And I hit my head on the bottom of the pool, and it was a freaking 20-foot pool, like
Yeah.
shit. And man, it's just one of those, like, it just really, it when you realize how in depth and how much you have to learn. Like for example, I hated social media, but now I love it because I'm meeting so many new people, and I'm like, after I got out of that initial depression, that's why I just started doing some more social media, more branching, more meeting people. I met you, I met Kugla because of you, I met Joypad because of you. And I've met a lot of different people. And it's just coming back to it, like there's still like at times, and thank you, Joypad, for the host. There's still those times where like I literally took this week off to just kind of take a break, take a step back, make up some other stuff for my stream improvement, and I hit a wall, and I'm like, what is this crap? I have nothing. Like I want to put more stuff, and it just seems like then I started getting down, and I'm like, no, 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 I can't let this get me down. I'm gonna just take a step back, think about the subjects I want to talk about, because I got some really juicy ones for like podcasts, but I don't have like any substance for my own like gaming streaming, my own gaming stuff. And I'm like, man, like what is going on? Like what should I do, a shift to where I just do like kind of more news, or do I shift and over just like I don't know. And it racks my brain because I'm literally walking at work and all I'm doing is thinking about, and that's all I can do. I'm holding mail, I'm talking on my phone, and I'm thinking. That's what happens every day. And my last 3 days at work, blank, nothing. And I'm going, why? I want to think about something. I got nothing. I'm literally just thinking about getting done and going home, and going home going, the fuck do I do right now? But it's just, when you're a content creator, you're like an artist or a writer, or it's like a combination of all of that. You could have this clearest, crystal clear image of what you want to do. You do it. But then out of nowhere, it just like, you just don't have that clear image. It just like shatters and disappears, and you're like, what the hell? And it brings you down. It just brings you so horribly. Like, thank you for that, Joypad. Like, Dazzling Typhoon, he was actually telling me how he fights his like situation. And what's up, Game Boy? Welcome back. He says he fights it by pushing himself and making more content. And for him, it works for him. For me, if I do that, I'm gonna not like what I made, because it's not gonna be like, I was talking to Zero the other day. We had a great conversation. It was over 2 hours long, right? And we were talking about all these things, but then I came to a realization while talking to him. Was like, when you push something out and you just got it out there, you're like, man, I could have did this, this, and that, and this and that. Like my video for this one, I could have just stayed back and put more. But now, since I didn't do that, I'm like depressed. Like, man, I could have made that better. Fuck, why did I rush that out? And then same with my next one. Man, like I got all these extra ideas, but then for me to fight the depression or those kind of walls and those feelings, is that make the video and let it marinate for a little bit. But that's personally for me. Now, depression is from millions of people, and some people don't even have outlets like we do. Like my wife has severe anxiety and depression, and one thing that she fights it with is making TikToks, and she is I'll explain that in a second, Kuga. She is getting better from making TikToks, but she starts suffering what we go through, but she already has that, but it's not as bad because she's used to it. Like us, we're not used to those kind of feelings. It's like we know how to get around it faster, but it's just, I don't know. I'm rambling. And marinate, I mean by making the video, getting ready to post it public, but I don't press that publish button. I wait a few more days while I'm at work or while I'm doing my process, and I think about, oh man, this would be great to throw in the video. That's what I mean by marinate. Like it's just sitting on the back burner.
Could sit on it.
Yep.
Now, I actually wanted to chime in on that, and while I do agree that in my mind, I haven't been able to do that as much as I wanted to, because with work, with the streams, with video editing, it's not easy to find time to do that.
Not at
Next
all.
week we're posting 4 videos. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of them are like bigger production videos, and then 2 of them are standard episodes. And yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's great, but the thing is that when we've been posting like 3 every week for about a month or so. When you do it that much, you just don't have that much time to let the video marinate as much
Mm-hmm.
as you would like to. So what's helped me is to just think about it like this, that sometimes a video will pop off just at for a reason that you can't even anticipate. You put out a
Yeah.
video and you're like, "Well, this is a video and we wanna have it out." It's not like we're just rushing it out. It's not like just we're cold pressing it. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's not something that I expect too much from, and it does really well. Or vice versa, sometimes you'll put an intense amount of work into a video, like you've crafted it so well, and it just won't like, it
Flops.
won't yeah, it plummets in
Yep.
terms of what you expect from the views and from this. That happens sometimes. So, because of that, because of remembering that that is the way content works, there's a million factors that go into what makes a video do well or versus what makes it not do well. I just tell myself, like, I can spend a million hours on one single video, or I can spend my million hours on 100 different videos. You know what I mean? So instead of just throwing everything into one video, which is could be good or it could be a big risk, I want to make sure that we're just giving people a lot of content. If they don't like one video, then you just pick up and you go on to
Yep.
the next one. Maybe they'll like the next one. Maybe they'll like the next one after that. Plus, we have a lot of ideas, and I have a lot of ideas. Like, there's tons of things I want to do, and some of it I can't do, but whatever, as much as I can, I will be trying to get out those videos. So it helps to take a step back and to just put everything into perspective, like
Yep.
how content creation, to remind yourself of how it works. Once you remind yourself of how it works, you can turn down your worrying, turn down your stressing, your depressing over, uh, and potentially get yourself out of a slump.
Pretty much what I've learned, and I was watching TikTok ironically, and there's this guy named Gary V, and he's an inspirational speaker. I don't know if you've heard of him. And in some of his things, is like, don't do anything for likes, subs, or anything. Don't have any expectations for when you press that post. Just do it, and who cares? Because when you start caring, and this is like a global thing in life, when you start caring and having expectations, what happens when those expectations don't happen? You get let down. And depression comes from being let down. But no matter what, it's human nature to want to have expectations, to have all of these wants, goals, and like
Yeah.
it's just, yeah. I'm trying. I can't figure out what to exactly say, but yeah,
I would say it's the problem of being depressed, the problem of being stressed out or worrying about these common challenges that face a lot of content creators is the way you put it in your head of, the expectation of like what you want, of what's important. If you are only here for viewers and likes and comments and all that stuff, it's I mean, yeah, some people can do it, but you're going to have bad videos, you're going to have bad streams. It's going to drive you crazy, and it's going to lead you to a content creator depression,
hell yeah, it
because
is.
you're obsessing over the numbers. Like, the numbers mean more to you than anything else does. And yes, the numbers are important. And yes, everybody deserves to grow if they work hard, and they should grow if they work hard. But sometimes that just doesn't happen. There's a lot of different content creators out there. It's a huge race to the top, and it's not very likely that you're gonna do incredibly well. It's actually very unlikely that you'll do incredibly well. It's probably not likely still that you'll do well. So you just have to like take things into, like, take everything with the expectation that, more importantly, you're doing it because you want to do it.
Yep.
That's gonna help you cope with a lot of these common issues that face content creators.
Yeah. Like, even the bigger content creators, when they start going on a downward spiral. They're losing followers, they're losing subs, they're not getting as many donations, and they're seeing it. Their paychecks are getting shorter every month. They start lashing out at their communities.
Yeah, that's a new thing.
That recent girl, I don't even know her name, but it was all over Twitter, all over everywhere, and she ended up saying, I've been streaming for an hour and no one's paid me anything? Like, no subs, no donations? Like, I'm sorry, you're a streamer. You have to be able to put on a show, be entertaining, and keep people's attention. Even if you have to evolve your content as you get farther along, figure out how to ways to grow. And I had a guy at work come up to me, and I didn't even know he actually watched all my YouTube videos. He's like, I actually watch all your YouTube videos. I was like, really? Even the like random ones? He's like, yeah, and I just do because that's what you do. And I was like, I didn't expect it came from left field. And I told him, so you have a business, right? He went, yes. I said, how long have you been doing it? He's like, right after high school, I've been doing it. So it's like, what? He's like, about 12 years. And I said, how long did it actually take you before you started finding yourself within the business to be able to actually make it grow? He's like, 6 to 8 years. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, because like you have to figure out, like, for example, today it's snowing. Why am I here at the job when I could be making money snow plowing? What I did is I have someone else snow plowing, but I'm still making money on top of making money here. I'm like, you figure out how to do it, which exactly, that was her name. Yes, Zalarius. That was her name, the Twitch streamer that lashed out about no one paying. Hey guys, can you pay me now? Bitch, get the fuck out of here. They'll pay you when they want to.
Well, I've actually, it's even to just like not call out any single streamer. I get a lot of articles on my phone about Twitch here and there, and I've seen it like crop up, like article after article, just talking about, oh, this person was rude to their Twitch, or they were, maybe if there's their gimmick, whatever, but they were lashing out at their Twitch viewers because they're not getting stream, or they're not getting the subs and the donations and bits and whatnot. So it kind of seems like it might be it might be like a new thing that people are just starting to do, be it a gimmick or be it that they're actually freaking out. And yeah, I mean, again, it's like you're a Twitch streamer. It's it's you should only be thankful when somebody subs for you or somebody gives you support, because that's support to do what you actually want to do, not so that you have to go out and just get a full-time job. So like when you don't get subs, you just, once again, you just have to deal with it.
Well, the thing is, that's when that happens, the downward spiral effect. I forgot this guy's streamer's name, but or a YouTuber too. But he goes heavy deep into like business and the aspect of stuff. And he was talking about her and Conan Carnage. And Conan Carnage put up a tweet saying, I do this because of my community. You don't have to pay me anything. Just come and have a good time. But then he compared the two. He said, now, if you look at the numbers, Conan Carnage is growing still. He's not losing anything. He's in a place where he's fine. He hasn't experienced what this person went through. And now, or your food arrives. I don't have any food coming. What the hell? Anyway, but this person, as you see, is lost followers, has lost subs. She's going through a spiral. She's noticing her checks getting lower, and she's just, instead of getting depressed, she's getting angry at her community, and she's not understanding. Like I know some partners that aren't growing because they're not trying to change stuff. Like if somehow my channels start taking off, I'm gonna have to sit here and be like, how can I utilize my time better to be able to supply more content, to supply more things for my community? And that's either like hiring an editor, that's either like doing other stuff. But as we're digressing to like content creation, let's get back on track to depression. Now, with all of that being said, if you don't find a way to grow and continuously grow and meet people and figure out what your community is shifting to, because you will always keep your main fans. It's always trying to bring in more people. But if you see that you're constantly dwindling, it's depressing. Like, you go from 5,000 viewers every time. You just click live, go to the bathroom, come back. There's 5,000 people there. And then next year, it's still 5,000. Okay, that's fine. Those are great numbers. I don't care who you are. Those are great numbers. But then 6 months later, you're down to 4. You notice it. Then you go down to 3, 2.5, 2, 1,000. You start seeing that, you're like, whoa, I'm literally a fifth of where I was at. You lost ad revenue, you've lost subs, you've lost followers. I mean, you're losing a lot right there. And a lot of streamers don't realize it in time and what they're doing and how what they are doing is to be able to get out of their depression. Because you might not realize you're in a depression at that point, but just seeing it, it naturally will put you in there, because you're seeing, like, you go from having like $1 million in your bank account to only like $1. It's like, I can't even buy food. I haven't been in this situation. What do I do? And you start going in a downward spiral. And that's when you need to evolve. And that's all it is. A lot of streamers don't understand that. A lot of people still won't. And as Kugla says, what are your thoughts about growth? And yes, exactly. It is about being thankful about getting any growth. Like, that's really what it is.
It's very competitive at that level. I think that's what it is. You're absolutely right. They have to, the streamers that are at that level and then they begin to fall off and they lose that growth, is because they're not willing to, or they're not changing anything. They're not doing anything different. So all the
Exactly.
people that are watching them, they see these other streamers that are doing something, and that's it comes back to the last podcast we have. That's part of what I don't like about content creation at that level, is that it becomes creative just for the sake of being competitive and getting more money, which is fine. Again, I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do with Twitch, it's more power to you. But uh, I would like to actually make an analogy, which could be kind of strange for some people or whatever. But I used to do a lot of skateboarding, and I was in that community, and we had a saying that, like, you know, the real, the real skateboarders, the real skateboard mentality is not just dudes that come to the sport because they want to get a girlfriend, because they want to get laid. Like, that is a big thing. You know, people will just, oh, I'll pick up a skateboard because I want to I want to pick up some chicks. It's like, that's not why you skate. You skate because you like the sport, because it's interesting, because you want to watch yourself develop and grow. Like the different tricks that you can do. Like, a year ago, I couldn't do transition. Now I'm like, I love skating at a skate park and like bowls and transitions and stuff like that. That's that's what makes skateboarding great. Not because it's like a badge that you wear that will make you more attractive to the opposite sex. And I think bringing it back to streaming, those people end up coming to Twitch so that they can make money. And it's like they're not the type of people that are really here to, they want to stream gaming, they want to build a community, like legitimately build a community and talk to people. Those people are just here because they want to make money. And again, that could work and that does work for some people, but it's highly competitive. It seems very cutthroat. Like, I don't know, I've never been like that, but it seems like at that level, it's very similar to a any kind of business that you would have, like
Mm-hmm.
CEOs messing each other over or something like that, like in the real business world. And I think where you really want to be at is just come to Twitch, just start streaming so you could like find people to connect with and talk about your love of video games, or if not video games, art or
Mm-hmm.
podcasts or any of the other millions of things that get streamed on Twitch now. Like, that's infinitely more gratifying than just doing it because you want money. And then when you get into that slump and you fail to evolve and you're not able to keep up with the competition, then you just leave. And that's the same thing that happens with the skateboarders that are just doing it for what we would call the wrong reasons. they get challenged and they can't do certain they can't get to a certain level, so they just stop skateboarding because from the beginning their heart was not really in it for the what we would call the right reasons, which is to skateboard because you want to do it.
Yep.
So like that's what I'm here for. I love video games. I love video game critique, and I just want to find people that want to talk about the games that I like. I love that about Twitch. You don't get that on YouTube as much because the categories don't mean anything over there. But and also they're more interested in just promoting the top people than like smaller channels. But here, like a category is a way of interacting with potentially thousands of people that like the game that you like. That's pretty
Yep.
awesome. So those are my thoughts.
Sounds good. Well, at this point, let's have a little break.
Okay.
Have a little. So, all right, everyone, we're gonna take a 3-minute break, 5-minute break. So we'll be right back. All right. See you all soon, okay? And I want the chat actually to discuss what subjects of depression they've gone through and just have some thoughts. So when we come back, we could actually talk to you guys and what your thoughts of depression are. All right. We'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
What up, everyone? We are back.
Welcome back.
Let you go first.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, Kugla brought up something, which was to share our thoughts about. He asked us to share our thoughts about depression and the struggle as a content creator. And I feel like another thing that we may have we may be looking at content creation in the wrong way is to just see it as something that's wholly unique. It is unique, but just to see it like there's nothing else like content creation. Where I draw a lot of inspiration and motivation from, and this probably come as a surprise to everybody, but is actually NASCAR, other sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, just to look at like the struggles that they went through. The world of sports is full of so many amazing stories of these incredible athletes, these incredible teams and coaches and strategists, like what they did to overcome another team, or in the case of NASCAR, 42 other teams trying to beat them. And it's not easy for them either, just like it's not easy for content creators sometimes, and it's not easy for people with everyday sadness or everyday or just general depression. You have to find something that motivates you. You have to find something that will inspire you to get back on the horse and just try again. you know
Yep.
to
That's
me
really
that's
hard.
NASCAR. It works really well. I love it. And watching old like interviews, old broadcasts, other like sports. I like to read history as well, just on the side, like looking into stuff. Finding a great YouTube video helps too. If you uh just like find a YouTube video where they tell you a good story, story about how somebody triumphed over a great obstacle. I mean, you know, take inspiration from other people that have had similar problems and use that to lift yourself out of this sort of slump. That's what I would say. And then get back on that horse and keep making content. You never know. Next week might be a really big week for you. And right now you're thinking, oh, I may never even be able to do content creation again. So, and also again, don't forget what you originally got into this for, which was more than likely to meet other people and to explore the similar interests that all of you guys have.
Yeah, those are some very good points. Now, I would like to ask the chat if you guys came up with anything. We'll wait a few minutes for you guys to respond.
Yeah.
Anything to talk about, the struggles you went through, or just anything related at all, or just simple questions of like who we are, and want to ask something, go ahead. We're here. Come on. Hurry up, mofos.
It's very common. It's very common, and a lot
Yes.
of people go through it. So, it's
I mean, everyone goes through depression of some sort. You lost a loved one. You like dropped your keys in the toilet. I mean, like you get the weird stuff like that. It's like, man, why? Like, it's crazy. I don't even know where the keys in the toilet came from. That's what first came to my mind.
Did you ever lose keys in the toilet?
No. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times, like these kind of depression or this kind of moments of sadness will come from it's something that you can't control, something you can't do anything about. You know, it's a force in your life that you can't change. My boss sucks. You know, it's raining today. I was hoping that would be such a great day, but it's not. And yeah, I think content creation, like I said very early on, is like you are obsessing over these viewers, you're obsessing over the numbers. That is really one of the main causes of depression, at least in my opinion,
What
of
are
this
you
content creation depression. What's
what are
up?
you talking about, Zilarius? I have not heard this. Are you talking about Okay, let me see if I got this right. So let's talk about the content creators who fall into the depression from social media mob mentality towards them. So are you talking about as in people are doing content creation, but there's this mob that just is like, "Ah, I'm gonna kill you." Are you talking about that type stuff or something totally different? And and I just need a clarification because I'm kind of curious about this one myself. I've actually haven't heard this, but I know you're on Twitter a lot. So
I have heard of a lot of people that have been driven away because of stuff like that, for sure. So it's
isn't that
it,
like slander in politics, where they'll get someone to be able to slander someone's name, and then their name is permanently tarnished until for when they try to revote and they can't get revoted in, just in a different outlook of looking at it.
I think it'd be more like having protesters or something show up like everywhere you go, you know? Like that could 100%
Oh
be
God,
demotivating. I want to take a second to plug a video real quick. I'll actually throw it into the thing if you don't mind,
I
FinalHarps.
don't care as long as there's no boobies and wrinkly things around. We're
No,
good.
no, it's pretty sanitary. But yeah,
It's
I
very
don't know much.
sanitary.
It's clean. It's Mr. Clean, clean as can be. Yeah, no, it's that definitely brings to my mind the story of whatchamacallit, Hungrybox, who was a competitive Smash player. And mind you, I don't know anything about Hungrybox outside of this video. I don't know much about the Smash community and whatnot, but like the way that this big video essay posted up was that yeah, he has the entire community of Smash, or at least like 90% of it, hates this guy's guts. But he's the best Smash player in the world. At least it is, or at least was. So, you know, I mean, like how do you not take inspiration from that? This watching this guy lift himself up when the entire community around him hates him, like
Jeez,
that.
that is a
Yeah,
really good analogy. Like coming from eternal darkness around you, but still finding that light at the end of the tunnel is what you're explaining this guy did.
yeah.
That's
His story was
crazy.
pretty crazy. His story was pretty crazy. So I'm not gonna spoil any of it because the video was like a nice watch. But um, watching that, I I I didn't know anything about him. I did hear about the crab incident because I was involved in the fighting game community a while back. Like I mean, I paid attention to the fighting game community, but like I didn't actually know anything about him. However, the video paints him in such a like it paints his story so well. Like the guy really did accomplish like, a lot. He really had a lot to deal with because the Smash community was pretty toxic towards him. At least that's
Damn.
what it seems like in this video.
And Game Boy,
Um,
I totally agree, but Twitch doesn't allow it. I'm sorry.
Kugla does bring up though thoughts about taking a break from content creation and coming back after the break. So
Yeah,
that's also yeah, that's another route. That's a route that a lot of people end up taking. And I don't know, like how's have you ever taken a break on Twitch and come back? Have you had that experience before?
I just went through it this week actually. I
Okay.
was burnt out between work, making YouTube videos, and streaming, and then I was like, you know what? I need a break from something. I can't call into work for a week. I need to support my family.
Yeah.
So I chose to take off from Twitch because I did just download the Adobe Cloud and I wanted to learn how to do that and kind of just like get some rest and think game plan of what I'm going to do next. Like my game plan to break from this depression, try to get some more growth is utilize You good, Zillarius. Utilize TikTok. Try to socialize more on Discord. All the social medias. Trying different things like this. Podcast. I tried the promotion thing for it. I just want to experiment, see what would work. But I go back to Twitch. I took the week off from it so I can think about all these things. And I felt really bad because I know my viewers want to watch me do something, but I'm like, I need to sit back and figure out a game plan and see what I can do. And I think I got a game plan until Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out.
Yeah.
Personally, there's this game that Soulmiss44 introduced me to, and Game Boy Rel, or Rel, is it Rel or it's Rel? It's got to be Rel. Game Boy Rel plays, and it's called Don't Even Think. And every time when I stream,
relevant.
What's that?
Seems relevant,
right? Oh my god! Ironically, I didn't think of that. I put it together, but as I was sitting back thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I want to supply the demand for it, because there's actually some people who, a lot of people watch it, and I'm like, you know what? I want to see how this goes for the next couple months, be like a solely Don't Even Think player and see what happens with it, just to experiment, because why not? There was like Game Boy had a lot of people watching him. I had a lot of people watching me. I was meeting people left and right. It's a very interesting. It was a very interesting scenario for me, and I didn't expect it. But I'm like, you know what? Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. And that's what I'm gonna do from now on. But the previous week, I took off because I was just burned out. Like everything. Like I want to be able to have fun again, which I always have fun when I stream, but I'm always dead tired, and I needed to figure out what I need to do. Even if it's streaming a little less, but being able to balance out work, YouTube, and streaming, and TikTok. I mean, a lot to take in, especially how many days at work, a week of work I do. But everyone's schedule is different. Like some people will work 5 days a week, part-time, have all this extra time, but don't even know how to utilize their time, which is the strange thing. And they'll go through a deep depression trying to figure out stuff. It's just, I don't know.
I think if you're gonna take a break, you should absolutely, or one thing that could help is that when you come back from the break, maybe think to yourself, well, what can I do different before I took this break? Maybe I can change something up. Definitely, I like, again, I used to skateboard, and I always liked working on my skateboard. So for the next time I would clean up the bearings, I tighten something up, or clean off the grease and dirt off of the board a little bit, or something like that. Like always touching up on it so that for the next time it's just a little bit nicer. And I think you could do that with the Twitch page too, with the Twitch channel. I love getting into like OBS and just messing about with it, see what else we could fix up. The the amount of stuff that has changed since I first started streaming on TooStupidGamerz, the Twitch page, is like insane. It is a constant work in progress. So it's just you're always making it better. You're consistently getting it better. Maybe some of the people we were referencing earlier that are like big streamers that are on a slump, maybe they're not doing that as much as there's, maybe they were just trying to get into a point where, well, I'll get 5,000 viewers average per stream, and then I'm comfortable. I don't need to upgrade anymore because I'll always have that. But if you're not constantly updating, you won't improve your stream. You won't make it a better experience for the people that are watching. And maybe sometimes you don't have to. Like you don't have to go too much into it, but it could help. It could help for the next time if that's so important to you to do that. Taking those breaks. I've also taken breaks too. Like I'm not gonna say I never took a break, but I was thinking specifically if anyone's taking like a long like hiatus from Twitch or anything like that. Small ones are good, and it's very important to take a break if you're feeling too tired from content creation. It's gonna give you more energy for next time. It could revitalize your motivation to keep doing this stuff. The flip side of it is though, you have to consider that like the longer of a break that you take, the more likely that you lose some people. I've noticed that especially with Twitch, but with YouTube too. If you kind of just disappear for a little bit, those people won't necessarily come back right away or at all. And that's also kind of a deadly territory if you want to build up a community, you know? You want to keep those people. So,
Well, the true people that you know, like a lot of people that pop in your chat is Drew, Joypad, Googla, um, yourself, and like a few others that I can't name off the top of my head.
right.
Those people like that are your true fans. They're, no matter what happens, they'll talk to you in your Discord. They will always contact you. Now the random lurkers, they might come back, they might not.
Yeah.
But at the same point, if you're not able to mentally handle the depression that you run into properly, no matter which way it is, even if it is taking a break, and those people don't understand it, that is their problem. That is whatever. You'll, because you are revitalized and you can think and move on more steps ahead, you will find new people that will like you for who you are and grow your community even more. So taking breaks, okay, let me put this in perspective. I have been doing content creation nonstop since June. I have not stopped. I've taken a day off. And that's it. My YouTube channel is not a consistent thing. I try to do once a week, but then I realize, oh shit, it's been 8 days. Crap. And I freak out, but that's because I'm always on YouTube or Twitch. Then I do YouTube. I don't do Twitch. It's like, that's another thing that was driving me nuts, was balancing out time. But I've been doing that since June. This is the first time I literally took off a full week just to sit back and figure out stuff. Like I made that, when you guys saw the host, you saw that animation pop up. I made that myself. I'm sitting there with Game Boy trying to figure out all this stuff and asking him for opinions, and he's like, oh, that looks really good, while I was figuring out the programs like on Tuesday or Wednesday. But I would never have done that if I didn't take a break. And I think I
gave you the opportunity to do that.
Exactly. While now I can sit here and utilize that for something. I had like maybe just the notifications, or I'll figure out something else. It's something that if I would never have done if I didn't take a break. And breaks are good, but you have to keep in touch with your Discord, your Twitter, let people know. Like, okay, he's taking a break. He'll be back. And he's still talking to us. Your true fans will never leave. Unless you do something dirty to them, they won't leave. Yeah. And those are the people you want to always let know you're still around. And they will always be there for you. Always. That's how it is. Let's go, Kugla. Wink, wink.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was just saying, like, in terms of like, someone takes like an extended break, it feels like you're dropping down a few levels in terms of what
you are.
I've done it. I did it in the early days, because in the early days I wasn't streaming that seriously. I was just kind of doing it whenever I had time or whenever I felt like it. But then I would notice that if I had a little bit of consistency going, and then I stopped for a week, maybe 2 weeks or something like that, the next time I came back on, most of the people would be gone by that point. So I was just saying that, like, yeah, the longer you take a break, you will lose some of that you will lose some of that traction, some of that viewership, which again is important to like people, 100%. And yeah, so, but it is important to take breaks. You got to refresh yourself. It's definitely something where you're going to be doing this for such a long time. Streaming itself is exhausting, because it's not like making a video where you just sit for like 30 minutes and you talk or whatever. You're sitting for like 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 hours at a time. So
streaming is long. Like the goal with streaming is, if you're not doing a show like this, the goal, if you're playing games and hanging out with people, you want to do more than 4 hours, because people know that at least 4 hours and you want to do more. So like a 6 hour stream is a really good baseline because people know they can come, go, come back, or stay for a while when they're finally settled, or go say hi to another streamer and then come back. They know that you're still there. That's like really hard, especially for you and I, because we both work full-time jobs, to be able to just sit there and stream. But then the harder part is, and most kind of like depressing part of the situation is, when you stream and you're streaming for 8 hours, the big O. And that's happened to me, where I'm just like, man, this sucks. Like, I had no viewers at all. And
you do get those streams though.
yeah.
And even when you don't do it for 8 hours, sometimes. So my big one of the challenges I'm facing is I just can't commit to a schedule. I want to. I know it would help, and I love the idea of doing a schedule. That's what we do at Two Stupid Gamers with the YouTube channel. We have a video posting schedule, but unfortunately, with the live streams, because of the way my job is, I really don't have a good opportunity to stream on a regular basis and say like this time, these times this week, I will be able to stream. All I can really say is that tomorrow I will do my best to stream. And it will probably be between these times, but I just don't know because my job is very all over the place with the schedule. So it kind of spills over into my streaming life, and that becomes a challenge. I know it would help because I've seen people go from no schedule to schedule, and suddenly like everyone can just expect that you will be at that, you will be streaming at that time, and it just helps so immensely. Um, that's what I would. That's like a future goal. I would like to be able to get to that point where I can make a schedule. I just can't do that right now, unfortunately.
I mean, I notice your schedule is usually in the afternoon, like mid-afternoon, and that's fine. That's like my schedule. My schedule is anytime after um 8 o'clock is usually when I go live, Monday through Friday. And
Well, actually, mine is really late. Mine is usually evenings, and then on weekends I could do the ideal time for me, which is like 5 o'clock, and I could stick around from like 5 to 9 or something like that.
that's a lot, Joypad. Give me one moment. You got anything else to say while I'm trying to catch up on what Joypad sent me?
Sure. I definitely think we should be approaching. Let's talk about what Joypad said for a little bit, but then let's get into the sort of
But wrap up,
let's
yeah.
yeah, let's wrap up everything that we talked about
I'm gonna
tonight.
just I think some of it got cut off. Joypad, did some of it actually get cut off on this? Oh wait, never mind. He's sent in a different one. Do you, all right, let me ask real first. Do you wait? You said you're gonna put this was in chat, so it's fine. Okay, 5 to 10. I felt down ending hour and 30 earlier. I had thoughts go through my head like I am not as entertaining as I once was. Is this like poetry now? I love it. Like, I'm being serious. Is my content getting stale, etc.? Streaming is my only motivation to get up, and it's not just procrastinate in a unhealthy way, but saying that it is not enough motivation as I am still waking up every day between 2 to 4 p.m. I can't seem to get out of this slump and am not being productive in a day-to-day life. I can't seem to find a day-to-day motivation, and mix that with depression I have basically had since I was 10. It's a shitty combination. So my question is, how do I get out of the slump of not being able to get up at a normal time to find my motivation? That is deep as fuck. Let me put it this way. My wife, I've known her since high school, and I'm 34. So that's like going on 18 years knowing. We've been together for 15, and she has chronic depression, chronic anxiety, and going to the mall today was extremely hard for her. And we had to stop and sit down, stop and squat and sit on the floor in the mall with people walking around us. I don't care. It's just because of like her condition. And some the thing is, you need to just do, because that thought and depression, especially since you say you've had this since 10, it sounds like you have a form of chronic depression. And I'm no doctor, I'm not diagnosing anything, I'm just saying from what you told me. And you just need to uh, find your own way to get over it, your own way to deal with it, because chronic depression is a much bigger and different discussion, because that is a very deep thing, because you have no control over anything and everything makes you anxious. Everything, like, I live with it. I don't have it, but I live with it. So I understand from the outsider's point of view what you're going through. And the only person in that situation that can help you is yourself. And because I could say a billion things of what you should, what you can, and what you can try. Now, if you chose to do one, great. Will it help you? No clue. I do recommend, from everyone I know and even myself, if you wake up and you can't sleep, go exercise. Write.
That's what I was told too. Yeah, for
Yeah.
insomnia.
Or just write. Write a poet or write a poem. Tweet it out. Like, I made this when I couldn't sleep. Like,
Yeah.
when I go through serious depressed ruts, I go through like a weird bipolar syndrome where I'm all happy, giddy. Like, you'll see me on stream, I'm all happy, but then I'll be at work, I'll think about work, and I'll know where I get triggered, and I'm like ready to like punch walls because of how like just my brain can get at times. And how I handle that is taking a deep breath, stopping. I literally stop what I'm doing at work. Like, I'll just stand there while I'm delivering mail. Just stand still and just take a deep breath, calm down, and go. But that's a totally different type of thing. It's just, that's my way of coping with what my mental issues are. And Joypad, from when I met you or talked to you, and what I can have talked to you about on stream, is like proper diet. Or like, I mean, you're an awesome person, but like, going back to things that could help you is like exercise, proper diet, eating right, less caffeine, more caffeine,
More
finding
sleep.
more sleep. But if you can't
Sleep.
sleep,
Sleep. Having a good sleep cycle will also reduce inflammation, which causes a bunch of problems for you. And
mhm.
then you have energy, and you're not as yeah. In my personal experiences dealing with stuff like anxiety and depression, I've noticed that the difference between me with not a full night of sleep versus me with a full night of sleep is night and day. It's like the difference between being at 100% when you wake up or being at 50% when you wake up. So definitely sleep too. Don't forget about that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be uh, um, a hard adventure, regardless of what way you go about it, because out of nowhere, it's just gonna hit you like a train. Then out of nowhere, it's gonna leave just as fast as it hit you, and you'll have those moments of like, just like that. It's weird. And
Yeah, that's why I would also say, like, you have to I completely agree with FinalHarps where in this situation, and again, I'm not medically trained. I have no form of any kind of education to like tell you this, but just in my personal opinion, my personal experience is like you yourself have to find a way to kickstart what you are, what's gonna kickstart your own recovery by finding what motivates you, by finding the thing that works for you. For some people, it's exercise. For some people, it's cutting out caffeine, cutting out alcohol, getting better sleep. For some people, it's meditating. I used to think meditating was really stupid. I'm like, that's not for me. I would never do that. But to be honest, meditation is great because, at least for now, that's how I see it. Is like it clears the mind, it makes you relax, puts everything in perspective, and it gets all of your vitals to like a normal level. So you're just like chilled out. Um, Yeah, and then it's a lot easier to take on like depression and
Hmm.
and anxiety when you're in that state. So meditation is another thing you could do. Exercise 100% is helpful, but also like you said with the when you can't go to sleep, find a little task for yourself to do. Reading, stay productive. Don't go too crazy. Don't start like, creating like the next big change to your stream or something when you're doing that. But definitely come up with
Don't
like
be
a little task that
Michelangelo and paint a cathedral. I forgot what it's called, but yes.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Uh I'm trying to remember too, but yeah, I know what you
You
mean.
forgot to.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
but you give your brain a task so that it can solve. So instead of focusing on the depression or the anxiety, has something that it can easily resolve. It gets distracted, and then suddenly you realize that, well, okay, so it's not quite as bad, and then hopefully you could get to sleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? There was a couple nights ago, I just couldn't sleep, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I never have that problem, but I also haven't been killing myself going to work, coming home, and then going crazy on content creation. So it was one of those where I was caught up on rest, and I'm like, wow, this is weird. I haven't felt this in a long time. But it was a different case of mine. So I went downstairs. I actually had one of those beers, chugged it in, talked to Greatest Gamer. I don't know if he's still in here for now, but I talked to him for a little bit, and yeah, um, I fell asleep. But all right, let's see what he says. Twitch motivates me, and my ex motivated me. She was poison, but at the same time, she gave me the motivation to exercise. I dropped 21 pounds within 3 months when I was with her.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's very good.
Keep it up. Like keep going, Keep
Let me
exercising and get in really good shape.
all right, 3 years ago now. Yeah, 3 years ago, I was driving for a bus company. I was 230 pounds, and I tried the keto diet. My mentality went from being like foggy and not clear to holy crap, I feel like I just did a line of cocaine and I have all this energy. What the hell's going on? I felt
It's
so much
You get
better
good
after changing the
circulation.
diet. Yeah.
You're fixing things that, just sitting
Mm-hmm.
around not exercising
Mm-hmm.
creates. So, yeah, it's definitely good. Exercise, diet, sleep.
Yep.
They're the keys to life, basically.
Yeah.
If you wanted to make it feel like a video game, it's like if you had a video game character and they woke up in the morning, it's like your health meter is depleting based on your health meter is just depleting the whole time, but you can fix it by exercising, by getting food, and by making sure that you actually get to a decent hour of sleep. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean every single day you have to do that. You can cheat a little bit. That's the fun part. You can still stay up late every now and again. You could still have like the stuff that you're not supposed to be eating, but yeah, for the most part, you want to cut a lot of that stuff out. You want to move towards like a healthier lifestyle. It helps some people at least.
Now
And
I'm with a lovely girl and has all the best assets, but she is overweight and not motivating when it comes to weight loss. So I have put all back on. I have lost the exercise motivation. I guess in my head I'm thinking of she is overweight and then why should I drop weight? It sounds shitty, but that is mindset.
work out together. Just do like a
But the
couple's
problem is
goals.
you can't control other people, or
No,
you
you
could
can't.
suggest it,
Absolutely,
but
you could
like
suggest it though.
yeah, you could suggest it, but like I've been married for 12 years. But I've been together with her for a lot of years. And oh no, 9 years married. But anyway, what I've learned from my marriage and being together is that I don't I don't control her at all. She could do whatever she wants. Now with this depression, all the stuff that she had going on, I actually suggested, why don't you do this, do that, try this, do that, do this, do that. I'm like, you need to do this. I used to be like, you need to do this. And then I realized, I'm like, she's gonna do what she wants when she wants to. And then in turn, she would ask me not to do certain things or do this or do that, and I'd be like, no. But then I explained to her, I'm like, you're trying to change who I am. You're trying to control me. I don't do that to you. And the thing is, Joypad, that might be your mindset, but what do you, the real, question, I was just gonna say that. The real question is, do you want to lose weight? And what is something you really want to do? Because you're saying, like, you suffer from a form of depression. And the best ways I personally learned is to do what we just discussed: exercise, proper diet. Like, sleep. I don't even know, proper sleep, yeah. Or I don't even know if you have sugar. Like, I've cut 90% of normal sugar out of my diet. Yes, I have like artificial sweetener, but I don't have any normal sugar. So the only thing sugars I have is like in bread or carbohydrates. Like, or honey, and that's it. I cut down normal pop. I used to have like even diet pop, a ton of that. I changed it to tea. I feel so much better. It's weird how much you could change your diet and your mentality changes.
You also get used to all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like Joypad just said, like it's bad, but the diets suck. But you get used to it. You really do get used to it because now I switched from white bread to like whole wheat, whatever, whole grain type of bread.
And now you don't
And
like
I
white
hated
bread.
it at first because it just tasted really bad to me. But after like years of this, it's flipped. I can't eat like that white bread anymore. It's just not good for me, and it doesn't taste good to me anymore.
Yep.
Whereas the bread that is good for me, I've now flipped it. I've just gotten used to the taste.
Now the thing with like your food that you eat is so good. The ironic thing is you could just tweak little things in whatever you eat to still make it good and still be on a diet. Like, the key factors you want to cut out if you're trying to go on a diet is carbohydrates and sugars. That's it. You cut those things out, you'll lose a ton of weight. Like, just having a can of pop or energy drink, sugar-free, makes a huge difference, even though they're horrible for you.
Still, yeah,
It
but
makes
they're better because they have less sugar.
Exactly.
They have no sugar. Yeah, I drink water with like every meal. It's so weird, and people stare at me like I'm a freak, but I got used to it, and I'm no longer drinking a soda with dinner, a soda with lunch, and a soda with like just outside of that too. So that cuts that out. That cuts out all the caffeine out.
Well, I mean, when I did keto, I would literally just have bacon and eggs and sausages. Then for lunch, I would have a burger with just no bread, no sauce. And then for dinner, I would cook some chicken. I lost 80 pounds doing that. I felt so much better. Like, if I could find this picture, I would show it. I'll put it on my Discord later because it's on my Facebook. You could see how skinny I was. I was skinny. And then I stopped doing keto, but the only thing I don't do is sugar. And my whole mentality and depression state, like, it's nowhere near as, like, on a regular basis. It's only, like, it's rarely when it happens now. And that's even with switching back to having carbohydrates and, like, sugar in, like, honey or, like, no, when I have coffee, it's black coffee. Or I put a little bit of G Fuel in there. That's it. Nothing crazy. My mentality feels so much better. It's ridiculous. And I can go back and remember how cloudy I was having like 6 cans of pop a day, an energy drink with sugar. And now I'm just like, wow, it's insane. Yeah. But paleo is good too. It's just, well, that's the thing. If you want to eat correctly, it does suck. But the thing is, you can always just skip meals to save money.
So, maybe we should come back to content creation for a little bit.
I think we talked about Joypad. I think I hope we helped him.
Yeah,
And um yeah. Yeah, we are
yeah, we're
almost done. Now let's wrap this up. I'll let you start first. I'll let you start first with the wrap up. Let's see where this goes.
okay. Yeah, so most importantly, we wanted to start off the show by explaining what depression is, explaining some of the key differences between like two different types of depression that people may have, or two different things that people experience, which again I believe was some people are actually depressed and some people are just sad, and the importance of of you know, nailing down which one you're going through right now, and then how all of the same things that people with depression have apply to like the content creator brand of depression. The I no longer want to do this. I feel the loss of motivation to stream, to make videos, to create content, etc. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is a very hard topic to talk about, and the reason why is that everybody goes through this pretty much to some extent. Maybe somebody out there is very lucky and they don't go through it, but I think for the most part, some people, all of us experience at least a little bit of this, and some of us experience it a little bit more than others. You do see it with some streamers, some of the streamers that, again, let's try not to name, but some streamers where they end up having real issues with continuing streaming. They have issues with taking out their higher expectations when they don't get met on their viewers. So, like, not everybody deals with this properly, and some people burn out, and some people disappear from the community in general. They stop using the platform. So,
Yeah, they just disappeared like they're a ghost.
yeah, what's helped me and what my approach to all of this is that I'm not really here to become the biggest content creator of all time. It's success is nice and it 100% feels good and it feels satisfying when we have a video that does well. When I do a stream and like it's like a really good stream, a very active stream. But what helps me motivate myself through these kinds of slumps and roadblocks is to just remind myself that I came into this because I love video games. Video games are a wonderful escape um, into these cool fantasy worlds. I love analyzing different characters and scenes and writing and gameplay. It's just that was the real reason that I started to do this, and that's the most important part.
Yep.
The success is like if it comes, it does. If not, it doesn't matter because I'm still doing what I want to do, regardless. I'm 100% comfortable with having a full-time job as long as it gives me time to stream and to make videos and stuff like that. So, you know, like
Exactly.
I'm fine. I'm fine with where I'm at. You know, I'm 100% comfortable because this is this is my opportunity to talk to other gamers and to meet with other gamers and to just share in the love of this of this cool hobby. And yeah, that's what, and then also paying attention to the motivational, inspirational stories of other people that have gone through even worse hardships, you know, even worse
Yeah.
hardships than just being depressed because of your content is not doing so well, or you have lost your motivation to do the content. But like people have struggled in sports, people that have struggled in you know, other facets of life and have depression and sadness for other
Yep.
reasons. It's pay attention to their stories and pay attention to what they have to say about what pushed them through, and you know, you'd be surprised. It could really do it for you. Read a good book. You know, find a little comfortable break from content creation, like a
Yeah.
little stream or a little activity that's gonna distract your brain, and you know, you'll be then refreshed for the next time
Even
that
if
you
it's in a
come
different
on.
form of content creation, like I'm trying TikTok. Never done it. Well, I have, but not seriously. Like new character like this, I'm gonna have face paint and stuff. Now, me, like I agree with you. I'm comfortable where I'm at. And in content creation and people I've meeting, I'm having so much fun meeting people. My goal in the end run is the world. I'm not gonna lie, it really is touching the world and letting everyone know about good vibes and having good times. Like that's just what I'm about. But even if I think I said this at the last stream. If I touch one person, helped out one person in one way, in any way or form, in a positive way, I am happy about that. Man, I think you missed out on your discussion, Dazzling. Because I did talk about what you texted me. But, as I was saying, like, if I help one person out, I feel good. Like, I see my content I create, even though it's not, like, growing as fast as I want it. There's people talking in there. I'm helping people. People are actually like interacting in my YouTube channel, and it's like, wow, this is crazy. People are interacting in my Discord or my other Discords that I'm in, but those Discords support me a lot, and it's very interesting. Like, I got into an argument with someone in a different Discord yesterday over with someone else, and that person has a huge Discord in a different one. And he said, can you tag me, because it's his Discord, tag me all your information for this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it, because even though like I got into it in between both of them, I tagged him in it. I said, hey, here's all my information so you can put me on the auto post, like how I have you and some other people auto posting when they go live. And then he came back to say, I'm sorry for yesterday. I wasn't trying to step on anyone's toes. I wasn't trying to upset anyone. I went, wow, this went totally different. And usually back in the day, I would not even approach that. But as I'm saying is that I'm meeting so many people and I'm loving it. I get to help someone out in one way or form. If I make one person smile, I'm happy, because having people smile is a really hard thing to do. I might not be the happiest person inside, but I love making other people happy. Well,
yeah,
I'm going, this is TooStupidGamerz joining me. I think, unless you got any last words to say, I think we're going to call it. Go follow him.
No, that was definitely the final thoughts.
That was the final thoughts.
100%. Yeah, I mean, just don't forget that you can get over a slump, and content creation and building a community is an amazing experience, and it takes time. It takes time to build up. So
yes,
don't be too hard on yourself.
And in the end, there will always be times ups and downs, and that's just life in general. Always ups and downs, but you always got to remember that you have to always realize that you're doing this for yourself. Do this for yourself and have no expectations, because there'll be a random person who clicks on you one day and they'll see who you are and they will love it. And that's one person that did not know about happiness at that moment in time. On that note, I think that's it. Thank you for joining me, TooStupidGamerz, or I mean Nanners. And
of course,
we're gonna go raid my buddy Greatest Gamer. He helps me out on a lot of stuff. He actually lives locally with me. I'm actually I'm setting up a podcast with him about a different discussion. We haven't fully discussed it yet or done all the troubleshooting. But yeah, we're going to go bother him for a little bit, and he's a good time. I hope everyone had a great time. I'm gonna post the video probably tonight or tomorrow of the full podcast. And if you need anyone wants any other questions asked, just go in the comments, and I usually am really quick about responding to comments. Or even hit me up on any of my social medias. I think I spelled that right. Yep. Hit me up on any one of those. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And all right, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.